is a whole lot of cars in the brand new Maui Island expansion. The expansion that the Crew Motorfest has given to me early. So thank you to Ubisoft for providing that. But these cars are numerous and, well, very, very diverse. With over 30, nearly 40 for this next update. 28 of them being brand new cars. This is what's coming. Now, as Motorfest always is, and it'd be no other way, this is rather front heavy. So first and foremost, let's talk. Whoa, that is a lot of restrictions now. We got the prestige, we got exclusive rewards, the playlist rewards, we got XP boost, requirement cars. I didn't know that they, and then we've got just generally locked cars. Oh, nice. Finally, I wanted this. The Year 2 Pass. I'm starting with this one because it's the exclusive cars, and I want to get those out of the way with. These are the paid-only vehicles. The Ivory Tower Ogmoist, the brand new custom car by Ivory Tower, gets a Chase Squad variant. This is going to be available day one and only through the Year 1 Pass. This continues with the Audi RS6 Avant. The interesting thing about this one is this is the only one that you unlock immediately. So the other ones, including the Ogmoist and the Ivory Tower hypercar that you just saw, those ones you do not get straight away. This one you will. I'll explain how you unlock those. Speaking of, the last street one of those is the Ford Mustang Dark Horse Chase Squad variant. And then let's move on to the hypercars. The one you saw earlier, the Ivory Tower Azus, this thing is of course a locked, paid-only, progression-only as well, alongside the Porsche 911 GT3 RS, an interesting one because this is a hypercar, whereas the base Porsche 911 GT3 RS is street. So, just an interesting disparity. And to close off all of the vehicles in the Chase Squad that are paid-only locked is the Lycan Hypersport. This thing is the final Chase Squad car that you can unlock via the Chase Squad playlist. But it doesn't end there technically, as it's not just cars in the Chase Squad playlist, but also a helicopter. These are your 7 Chase Squad vehicles in the Year 2 Pass. These are the vehicles that will be paid only in the pass. Now, where you get the Audi RS6 Avant straight away, the rest of them are unlocked through the Chase Squad playlist and how to unlock all the other police cars. With that one Audi RS6 Avant, you can play through the playlist, and your playlist reward is the Ivory Tower Azus. That's 2 of them, 1 street, 1 hypercar. We've still got a helicopter and 2 street, 2 hypercar left. Well, let's move over to the rivals. These are where you take down all of these different racers individually in police chases, and these big boss cars and this big final racer, well, you don't actually unlock their cars like you do in the race version. I'll get to that. Instead, you get the police cars through this. So the helicopter, Mustang Dark Horse, the Ogmoist, the Lycan, and the final one, the center, the big boss. Instead of getting the big boss's car, like the race version, you get the 911 GT3 RS police car. So that is where all 7 paid-only vehicles are hidden in this playlist. But the Year 2 Pass has other stuff as well, not just paid-only vehicles. We've actually got some vehicles that everyone else will also be able to get, but you just get them early. The BMW M5 CS is one of those cars. You will get this in the Year 2 Pass, however, a week later, a week into the update, is when you'll actually be able to buy this car. And it's joint with the only 2-drop, the GTR32. This thing joins the BMW M5 CS as the first base vehicles in the Year 2 Pass. Both day 1 for Year 2 Pass holders, and buyable a week later for non-holders. The November drop. So what's the December drop? The Ferrari Roma. Now, I don't have the car or to show you it, but the Ferrari Roma is coming December 4th. That thing is going to be 1 week early access, so on December 11th, that's when every player is going to be able to buy it. But as far as Year 2 Pass, it's December 4th. Then we move on to my birthday, January 1st. January 1st gives us the Maserati MC20 Cielo, the convertible version, a newer 2023 instead of 2020 Maserati MC20. This thing's January 1st and January 8th for all non-Year 2 pass holders. And finally, in Street Tier 2, oh god, Street Tier 2? Oh no! In Street Tier 2, the Mustang Mach-E GT is on February 5th. These are the last ones that we know about. The Year 2 Pass will also feature 8 other cars, but we have no idea what they are. 2 of them will be playlist requirement cars, obviously, that being on March and July, and the rest of them, 3 for each Season 6 and Season 7, those ones, they could literally be anything. Hopefully, not more Mach-Es. Okay, now finally, screw the Year 2 Pass. The helicopter is a Day 1 shop edition. You'll be able to buy the helicopter in the shop. Everyone will be able to. The A500, it's the Proto A500, so claims to be the exact same helicopter as the Crew 2 had. And alongside this helicopter, it's a very heavy-loaded first day, is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Now remember, this one is in Street 2, while the police one is in Hypercar, which is an interesting decision. This thing can be purchased day 1. It's also joined by its sort of co-hyping up this update vehicle, the Rimac Nevera. This thing also comes day 1 of this upcoming update. This one has a lot more customization, as you can see, compared to the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. Also quicker. Nice. Double, and hold it, and hold it, and hold it. Nice. Those 3 vehicles are going to be in the shop day 1. As a final note on day 1, yes, there's still more on day 1. One last car for day 1. Past those shop editions, past the Year 2 Pass, well, obviously, there is a brand new playlist day 1, which is Made in Japan Volume 2, which takes you from the Supra as the requirement vehicle to the Nissan Liberty. Oh, for God's sake, I did it again. The Honda NSX Liberty Walk Edition. This thing is your reward car for finishing the quite enjoyable Made in Japan Volume 2. Also meaning every single one of these upcoming cars is Street Tier 2, not a single Street Tier 1 car.
Oh my god, I just remembered that we're actually still not done with day 1.
So speaking of Made in Japan, of course there's the brand new Rivals system. And like I explained in the Chase Squad section, there is also a racing version, and that racing version actually lets you unlock these cars, including the Big Boss. And I've unlocked one so far. In fact, I went for one of my favorites, the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I forget what the Night Stalkers edition or whatever. I believe it's called the Rivals edition. This thing is so cool. It's like a proper racing kit. Makes me wish this thing was in racing. This thing is one of 5 vehicles that anyone can get, as it's in the Japan playlist, through racing all of those rivals. Instead of chasing them, you do a randomly generated open world race against all those rivals. And then you take on the bosses and win their cars, which are the Alfa Romeo Giulia GT-AM Rival Edition, the BMW M5 CS Rival Edition, the DeLorean DMC-12 Rival Edition, and the Pontiac GTO Rival Edition. Bearing in mind, all of these, including the DeLorean and the Pontiac, are Street Tier 2 vehicles, and only obtainable through this system here. And then the big boy, when you finish every single one of them, this is a spoiler by the way, you're meant to find this out slowly, it's a spoiler. The big boss car that you get is the creator's Tempesta Rival Edition. Is the White Tiger Big Boss grandiose car at the end of this whole playlist. And that finally concludes week 1. Holy hell. Also, a fun thing to note is that all of these cars glow. And I mean like animated glow. As you can see there, the things, they actually like animated glow. Almost everything on the car. All of them have this. The rivals at least. Just like the Chase Squad cars do. Okay, let's finally move on to week 2. How front-loaded? Now, like I already mentioned, the BMW M5 CS and the Nissan GT-R 32, these will be available for all players, non-Year 2 pass holders, on November 13th. But on a newer note, the Ivory Tower Ogmoist joins the game officially as a buyable car on the 2nd week. This custom muscle car made by Ivory Tower is going to be a week 2 addition to the game. It's fun enough. It's fun enough. The customization's fun in it. Honestly, I want Ivory Tower to make this thing in real life. That's what I want. Now, there is some stuff that I would normally mention on week 2s of updates, but I'm gonna leave all the returning cars till after the brand new cars. So because of that, we're gonna jump to the end of the month, the summit, which brings us a rather interesting one. The KS Masked Leader Death Racer Edition. I mean, I guess you get a better view of it in the image there, and, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, because what I'm seeing is a bone stock KS Masked Leader with a livery, which isn't the best. Good rule of thumb is you should never be able to create a summit car without getting the summit car. But speaking of the summit, that's most likely where 3 other new cars will come from. As far as we've seen, every summit vehicle except for one has been a new car. It's the main stage that became reruns, not the summit. So 3 other new cars in the summit. And then we have the coveted Elite Bundle, which could be any manner of things. Most likely 2 hypercars, as that's been the trend, so we'll probably get 2 more hypercars throughout this season at some point in the Elite Bundle. As far as I remember, it's been in the 2nd month. I hope it is, because at least that would spread it out a bit. Because wholly front-loaded. But interestingly, for new cars, that actually brings us to 28. So I'm curious, is there not going to be any other shop additions throughout the season that aren't the Elite Bundle? Now let's start talking where the numbers get real beefy. Returning cars. We begin with the premier feature for returning cars in the game, the main stage, which brings back the... Oh, wait, I don't own it on this account, right. Mitsubishi Lancer Evo Black Knight Edition, the sister summit car to the Red Fury Edition. This thing comes back as a main stage vehicle. And interestingly, this time around, we actually don't know what the other 3 main stage cars are going to be. I mean, I hope that they don't reveal that without me knowing, because I've made this video now. But as far as I'm aware, if everything goes like the information I've got it, we have no idea what the other 3 cars are going to be. So, we know that there'll be 3 other returning Crew 2 Summit cars. I mean, I guess the most likely ones are like the Ford GT Interception unit, the Hummer HX Concept Enforcer unit, both police cars, both locked in the Summit, both, well, could come back here. But we don't know. We don't even know the themes of the other months, which good. Finally, they get to actually be hyped up things that are just all being revealed here. But 3 other main stage cars that we don't actually have or know. But speaking of the main stage legacy this time around, of course, brings the Red Duchess as the first one. These are all going to be on the 2nd week of every month. There's 4 months, 4 main stage legacy cars. You can just do 2 events per summit from that update, and then at the end you unlock this vehicle, this returning car from the Crew 2. And on the 2nd month of the update, the return is going to be the Driver San Francisco-ified Riff Edition Dodge car. Next is the Basalt. Unfortunately, in month 3, during week 2 of that month, you'll be able to get this in the main stage legacy if you missed it originally. And finally, of missed vehicles that you can get in the main stage legacy if you already own them, the Mazda RX-3. Right? Was it the Raijuo? Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Yeah. All to come out and return this update. Also, if you watch my live streams over on Twitch, there's the Twitch drops, which is bringing back the Honda S2000 Red Panther. God, they are returning like 70 cars an update. What happens when they run out of cars to return? In fact, speaking of the Prestige Ticket Store, this store right here brings back 6 cars, all Summit cars. The Ford GT, what was this called? The Airfoil Edition, the one named after an artist, the Kamea Hadar Edition, the Temptation Edition, the Magma back from the Crew 2, the Hoonigan Edition cars here. This seems to be like the timeline, so we'll get the next, I guess it will be 4, right? Because Hollywood was a 4-month thing with the Black Panther, the Ivory Tower Asus, and all that, whatever. This update, however, we get 6 because we got 2 updates worth, and then all the vanities and stuff. But these are all now buyable through simply grinding the custom mode. So there's a lot, but remember, you get like Whoa, so much. Okay, you get 400, 600, 200, and then the title, so an extra 1,200 just from finishing a whole thing, plus the amount you get from everything, all of the rows, plus the 10 each you get from each single event, plus the fact that not only in the main stage, but also in the summit, there is prestige tickets, 150. There are so many prestige ticket getting opportunities. And the cars returning to that store are the ones I just said. So that's a whole lot of cars. In fact, in totality, it's however many I put in the title of this video. Speaking of, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. That's gonna be about it from me in a bit.